Welcome to Circle the Wagons. Circle the Wagons is a panel discussion of one political topic per episode. Our distinguished panel members will bring multiple perspectives to surround the issue and introduce viable solutions. Now it's time to buckle up and get ready to Circle the Wagons. Welcome back, friends, to Circle the Wagons. This is the political podcast produced by the Patchouli Podcast Network. Sitting to my right is the inimitable, the lovely, my life partner, best friend, love of my life, Diane Bogman-Mays. Mama D.
Hello.
All right.
And I am great. Ready to talk politics
Right.
after a long break. I mean, like I haven't been talking politics, but,
Right.
but on the podcast. And sitting to my right is the wonderful Josh.
The one and only one.
Hello. I am Josh Hatfield, the outspoken Lamanite, and really excited to be here. It has been far too long already, couple of weeks. Yet with as much stuff as has happened, it feels like it has been months.
It does.
Yeah, missing this evening. Charlie Forrester is in the process of moving. He is also in the midst of midterms. So he had prior commitments that are actually, the movers are coming tomorrow. So he is at home. He just left the bookstore, Patchouli Joe's Books and Indulgences, and he is packing up with his bride-to-be, the lovely Haley. So he's tied up. Joelle is still adjusting to being back in country. Huge shout out to Joelle. He very thoughtfully found some Japanese bookmarks and brought them home for Diane and I.
That's really cool.
Very
cool.
touching, very
So
sweet that he was halfway across the world and thought of us. So
And we miss you, Joelle.
Yeah.
So
Yes, we
find
do.
your way back.
get some rest. He's got some more news to share, but I'll let him share that in the meantime. We miss you, buddy.
Absolutely.
And then a new member, Dr. David Smith, will be joining us intermittently. He was unable to join us this evening. So it is just going to be an intimate little conversation with Josh, Diane, and I as we get caught up on things going on in the world, things going on in our political lives. And we had a lot going on, man.
Yeah.
So much.
Yeah.
I actually am struggling a little bit to recall what was going on, where we left off last time, to see exactly where we springboard from. But I mean, I could say we can really just go off of the last week, even if we find ourselves divulging further back to said springboard point.
Right.
Yeah,
because
fairly certain wherever we left off involved Venezuela. It's been that long.
it has,
Wow.
which is still ongoing.
And but
Just
isn't
not
it
as a headline.
quiet? And aren't we not hearing anything about it?
It has, as
Yeah.
tends to happen.
Yeah.
Because newer headlines and other things tend to become more amplified, and these other just as important items kind of fall to the wayside. I think that doesn't only seem to happen naturally with us. It seems to happen more diametrically, or rather more more subversively, where we are in a realm of being controlled by those that are seeking authoritarian type powers.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's, well, let's be real, like the billionaires that own the media also own our government. So what do they want us to hear? What do they want us to know? What is it that they are interested in allowing us to be privy to?
Yeah, it's what he said. Sorry, putting pieces together here. It's been a minute. Had a whole lot of other podcasts over this issue. Picture.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so there we go. So where do we want to start? Where do we want to dive
Goodness. I actually
in?
would
Texas early voting. Quick reminder, this is being recorded on the 24th. Texas early voting started on the 17th of February, runs through the 27th. The actual primary date is March 3rd. So there are still a few days to get in on the early voting and the primary voting here in Texas.
I voted.
Me too.
Crazies.
Wonderful. Now, I guess I'm not in your district, so
Right.
I didn't get to see your name on the ballot, unfortunately. If I had, I definitely would have voted for you. I did, however,
Not gonna lie, man, that was a weird experience. It was
was
a
it like
surreal experience to see my name on a ballot.
stepping into the ballot and voting, officially voting for an official ballot and seeing your name and getting to bubble in your name?
Yes.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I
that-
stood there and stared at it and started to cry a little
Oh.
bit. And then,
and we both paused to appreciate the moment.
Yeah.
Good news is that, well, no, you're not in my district, so it won't matter. You
Not.
won't get to vote in it. What district you in?
So I'm in 63.
Okay, gotcha.
So I did vote for Denise and for my district.
Mhm.
And one of the, I guess, what is the title? She's going for one of the judges.
JP?
JP,
Oh.
yes, JP. Trista Williford.
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah,
So-
she's
really like her.
precinct
She's
3,
fantastic.
I think.
Yeah, I think that's right. She joined us for our Flower Mound area Democrat breakfast last Saturday.
Mm.
So it was really cool walking to breakfast. She was sitting there. There was a seat open across from her next to her. So my wife sat down next to her. I sat across, and we kind of got to catch up on things. And that was one of the. I was like, let's high five because I voted for you, and that's awesome.
Yeah, and
I'm excited for you. I'm all on.
We've been at several events together with Trista
Mhm.
and Ernest. I was the standing joke. Ernest
Yeah.
Lundberger ran for U.S. Congress at the primary against Steve Shook.
Both great candidates.
Absolutely. But I was seeing him. There were so many events that I was seeing Ernest at that I joked that I was seeing him more often than I was seeing Diane.
That might not have been far off.
It might not have been.
Pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Depending on what you guys had going on separately.
Yeah.
I do love Diane has been so involved too, being right by your side every step of the way, and that's amazing.
Yep,
I love to see that
except for the
support.
block walking.
Well, there's a whole nother aspect to it in staying back,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Guarding the home. Somebody has to be
In
on
the
the home
store.
front.
Usually I come up here. Yeah.
Yeah, and we are
Mhm.
actually going block walking with campaign manager Gerald Hasty, but
Nice.
these came in the mail today. These were produced
Collectibles.
by Mothers Against Greg Abbott. Does not represent an endorsement by them. Their endorsements are primarily focused on those who are in primary races, which I do not. So, but yeah, these are the cool little trading cards.
Collectibles.
Posted them on the social medias today. Got my first flip off
Look at that.
from somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's so sweet. They said something to the effect of,
Woke libtard, I'm sure.
no, it said, well, let me get it. Let me read. I don't want
Good. Let's
Yeah.
I don't want to ruin the,
no need to misquote.
Because it's limited words, because there are only so many words
true.
that
It's true.
are in
I
certain people's
actually
vocabulary.
did not even post any words, just a meme. Flipping the finger, a special message from the supporters of the current president of the United States, not going to mention his name, to the mentally insane liberal left. So I thought about just responding and saying, I will be sure to pass this on if I see any mentally insane liberal left.
That's a
but
great response. I think you just did.
I'm just not going to respond. I'm going to do everything in my power to avoid getting sucked into the mud.
Yeah.
What's that old expression? You don't ever want to wrestle in the mud with a pig.
He's better than I am.
Pig
Yeah, I know.
likes it. So,
Yeah.
I jump head in, right to the deep end, and I try to find anything and everything to go ahead and just have some fun with it. I will give you back all the energy you've given me plus some.
Yeah.
I think that there will come a time when I am willing to do that, and I'm diving in. I know that it's only a matter of time. We had some block walkers today for one of the challengers from the other party
Mhm.
in our district. I was in the shower, didn't have an
Yeah.
opportunity to speak to him. I would have loved to have taken
Yeah.
cards. I don't think I'd have given him one of the collectibles.
Well,
but
I can guiltily admit that as we're regularly having protests, being on the sides of the streets, holding up our signs, we get tons. We get way more like honks and supports. People waving, cheering, glad to see that we're doing what we're doing. But you'll see an intermittent dispersion of somebody with a thumbs down, a sour face, maybe shaking a fist. I've even had a couple of people that have found us, gone and done a full circle loop just to come back and circle whatever they're doing in their day.
Yeah. Right.
we have triggered them so hard that they've come back around to show such distaste and displeasure for what we're doing that I will get the bird. And everybody around me seems to notice this. They seem to pick me out of the main crowd for whatever reason.
You look like a troublemaker.
It's got to be,
Let's be
but
honest.
also because I will not hesitate to give it back. And
We-
so while everybody else is politely like, kind of like, oh, whatever, like I will boldly put that finger right back up at
Yeah.
them.
I think it was.
And-
I think it was the first No Kings march.
Yeah.
I'm not positive what march it was, but we had one of those that was going around in circles, and I made it a point to very demonstrably take a photograph of this person, and of course they loved it. And I did nothing with it. It was just purely
Right.
for my amusement. But
Yeah.
But it's always good to do that.
Yeah.
Have it
Yeah.
just in case.
you never know.
Yeah.
Like to get some license plates, like to get
Yeah.
some names. But yeah, they have the right to speak their
They
minds
do.
just as much as we do.
And
So.
that's the whole point of it. That's really honestly, in a weird way, I hate to say it this way, but that's kind of the fun of it. When you really get down to it, is the fun of this is we are all technically allowed to have different positions. The difference is how we react and treat each other based on said positions.
Right.
I'm not going to be the first one to go out there and flip that bird at you for your stance. I'm just not. I'm not going to be one to throw a punch. But if that comes my way, it's probably going to come back to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's there is another No Kings march on the 28th of March. We're actually having a poetry night that night. What is it? Ice Out. Being hosted by Valvera.
Ice Out Poetry Night.
I think
Ice-
it's a No Kings
That's
poetry
very cool.
No,
this
let
time,
me- let
because
me-
it was Ice Out last time. wasn't
Yeah,
it?
this is there's No Kings March, 1:30 to 2:30. The poetry Ice Out, an open mic revolution with Valvera, the DFW
Mm.
Anti-War Committee will also be on site as they were last time. So those are coming up here at Patchouli Joe's. So yeah, there's a lot of opportunity for people to get out, speak their minds. Voting obviously is hopefully the most impactful.
Mhm.
But yeah, people did podcasts like this, conversations like this, people dropping flip off memes.
Mhm.
This one, at least I understood. The last one that was dropped on me was I didn't even know. Hey, it literally broke my brain. I had no idea what to say. Is something about Joe Biden and
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
remember that one? It's like
Very weirdly worded.
oh yeah, it was when I posted that I had received the endorsement from Vote Vets.
I guarantee you it lacked punctuation.
Yeah, he came back and I posted that it was a little short, brief video that just said, thank you to Vote Vets or the first ever progressive veterans group. It's 1.5 million vets, their families, and other supporters. So yeah, big shout out to Vote Vets.
Yeah.
Anyway, their response was, yeah, well, Joe Biden sure did a lot for veterans. And I'm like, I don't really even know how to respond to that. I'm not Joe Biden. So that was, I don't know if he was confused or exactly what was going
May
on.
have been. May have been.
Yeah, it's literally a veterans organization. I'm literally a veteran, and I have no idea what this chucklehead was talking about. But hey, God love him.
They have set a precedence. I feel like that their kids are going to talk about Joe Biden the way they speak about Soros.
Yeah.
Talk about Soros too. Bring that on too. Come on.
I'm just saying, like they've created him into something he's not.
The boogeyman.
Yeah.
He's nothing of what they say he is, but it's so. I feel like it's becoming conflated and inflated.
Gotta
Yeah.
have a boogeyman, and especially up here in Texas, North Texas, they're going after the the Muslim communities, the Islamic community over in Plano.
Louisville had it on their Republican primary ballot. as
Yeah,
well.
they've that's been statewide. They've got it on the ballot to ban Sharia law.
Ban Sharia law.
And one of the things that I'm doing is making a list of all the active issues that people could ask me about. So I have done some research. I've got an opinion, a perspective, and basically what it comes down to on that is a solution in search of a problem. There is nowhere in the state of Texas where Sharia law exists. Nowhere.
It doesn't.
It doesn't. And if 100% of the Muslims who live in the state of Texas voted to replace Texas constitutional law with Sharia law, which would never happen, but if 100% of the Muslims who live in the state of Texas, it would lose 98.3% to 1.7%, because that's the high end estimate of what percentage of Texans
Are Muslim.
are Muslim.
Right.
So it's so absurd on its face, but it's creating the boogeyman, and this is that strategy of operating from a place of FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. If I
Yeah.
frighten you enough, I can make you do whatever I want you to.
I think it's a continuation of the war against terror back from 9/11.
It's
It's never ended.
no, they
But it's not the. I
well,
think
now
they're
it's a
it's the
using
here.
it.
war against brown
Yes.
They're
people.
just
And
using
they're
it.
using it. Now, here's the thing for me. Precedence, right? What it is to me is that look, they know that they are setting up the binding and codifying of laws based on Christianity, so to speak,
Sure.
right? And in so setting that precedence, you've now eliminated at whatever point you've now set that law, especially if it passes,
Mhm.
you've allowed that law to go ahead and dismantle a portion of the separation of church and state, which the separation of church and state is just important to protecting Christianity and all religion as it is to protecting secularism, right?
Well, the thing about Sharia law, and it is a thing, and yes, there are Islamic countries around the world who have adopted Sharia law as their judicial
Mhm.
law of the land. Obviously, not the case here. There are practices that are considered Sharia law. They're the traditions and expectations of somebody. And I'm not Muslim, so please, if I'm getting this wrong, please feel free to reach out. Happy to have the conversation. But an analogy that I saw, and I'm going to butcher this, is because I'm not Orthodox Jew. The halacha is a Jewish religious law that's freely practiced by Orthodox Jews because freedom of religion. And it's got very many similarities to Sharia law. They're not law in terms of the law of the land. And in fact, the Quran specifically says you follow the laws of the land you live in. You don't, your
Yeah.
practice of Islam is,
As does the New Testament.
yeah, I mean, these are
Right.
basic
Right.
fundamentals. Um, but yeah, it's not because, well, I'm not gonna I was gonna say, yeah, they're not going after the Jewish population, but they are. Um, but this is a practice that's been going on for decades in the United States. It's protected constitutionally, as is practice of Islam, and the Sharia law, which is part of the Islamic tradition, is very similar to that.
Yeah.
So it's not coming in and replacing the existing state law
Not at all.
or even a community's laws.
Yeah.
And somebody called me on it and said, "Well, what do you think about this care?" And there's all this other stuff. And I said, "Yeah, if somebody breaks the law, they should be absolutely accountable."
The individual
Yeah,
who breaks the law.
Right.
absolutely.
It doesn't mean a targeted
Of
group.
course not. If somebody breaks the law, you're accountable. You go to jail if you do something bad.
Yeah.
What does that have to do with how one practices one's religion?
If you're
Exactly.
beating your wife because it goes with your religious law, well, it's against the law to do that in the
Anyways,
United States.
correct.
So
Doesn't matter what religion.
doesn't matter what religion you are. And I'm going to tell you, there are a lot of people in a lot of different religions who
Yeah.
break the law.
Yeah.
So,
But again, I think kind of back to what I was saying with precedents is what they've done is they've normalized, using Christianity as a reason for these certain laws they're doing. But the thing is, they're opening that door that anybody else can then also do the same with their religion,
yeah,
ideally. So, in essence, what they're doing is they're demonizing themselves, but calling it something else. That's the way I look at it.
yeah,
You know, they're saying that, it's okay because we're all Christians. So we agree that this should go this way. But if the Islams and the Muslims have their way and they do the same thing we're doing, but it's Sharia law, it's going to be evil. It's going to be, I don't know, it
yeah.
just becomes demonized. So that's how I've basically interpreted it, and the way I've approached conversation with people in that regard is that's the one thing I keep bringing up. I was like, there's already separation of church and state as long as we keep
Is
separation of church and state.
Well, and for here to that point, this bit of news right here, the East Plano Islamic Center, EPIC, as it's called, requires that teachers display passages from their holy scriptures in classrooms. Wait a minute, hold on. No, I'm sorry, that's the Texas state government
Yeah.
And the
requires
Ten
teachers to
Commandments,
display passages from their holy scripture in classrooms.
I do believe.
So when that I think goes to your point, Josh, if you're a favored religion, favored by those who are the moneyed class who are influencing political decisions, and you are If their beliefs are what's being forced through the Texas state government currently, and that's one of the main reasons I'm running.
Yeah, absolutely. Here, here.
Yep.
So vote Joe Mays for Texas.
Vote Joe Mays for Texas.
District 106.
District 106. I had a great question from a friend of mine who popped into my store just to kind of say what's up, shoot the shit, catch up a little bit. And he asked me as he was leaving, he goes, so really important question to me, and that is Crockett or Talarico.
Oof.
I know this has got to be one of the hardest questions I think anybody asked you guys.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Because and I would say originally I leaned one way. I voted completely opposite that
Did
when I
you?
got in the box.
Did you?
I did.
This question is driving me to have a cigarette gum.
So, well,
if I'm chewing gum, it's not. It's because Josh brought this question up, and I need a cigarette, which
it's
is
my
odd 'cause
fault.
I don't smoke.
If I had THC gum, I would.
Did you?
Hey, that's an idea, boss. If you're watching this episode, let's look into some THC gum.
I'm sure it exists.
Oh, it does. We actually just arrived. We have tabs now. Can I say that on here? The THCA tabs. As the FCC controlling this, I don't know.
I have no idea.
This FCC is not controlling this, and I have no idea
Perfect.
what you're talking about.
So,
what
we have
just know. I'd like to remind her this. Joe's not saying this.
I will say this.
No idea what Josh.
My position is not the position of Patchouli Joe's, or in any way the Patchouli Joe's Network, or the Circle the Wagons podcast network,
or Patchouli, or Joe Mays for Texas,
or Joe Mays for Texas. So, no, we just received some tabs. So they're basically like ink blotter paper with THC. So they dissolve under your tongue, just like, you would have taken some other psychedelics in some other point in time. Yet I have them for sale at the store. And I'm just like, this is incredible. I can't wait to try this because one, it's healthier for my lungs and it's not going to mess with my digestive system. Not really. I mean, it's just paper. So at least not the way some other edibles do. Ordering. I'm really excited about
that plug. There you go.
So come to Paperverse in Louisville, see Josh, and he can get you some THCA product. Back to the question at hand.
We have two outstanding,
outstanding,
beautifully positioned.
I will vote for either one.
Democratic candidates running for U.S. Senate to replace John Cornyn, who is being challenged on the Republican side by Ken Paxton.
Gotta go.
Yes.
By Ken Paxton.
They all got to go.
Just for those of you who are not in Texas, I want to wanted to make that clear. Talarico, Crockett running on the Democratic ticket primary. Paxton looking to unseat John Cornyn, who is the current Senate incumbent. So that's what we're looking at. We have 4 candidates, 2 on each side.
Actually, there's 3 on each side, but the other 2 are not pulling.
Not so well, right?
Yeah, and that's fair. I do need to pull up.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
I do need to pull them up and give them equal time.
If this helps you, this is just the way I framed it for him, and kind of right off the old skull cap here. I was like, I think we're in a very unique position because how long have we voted for somebody, and when somebody asks us if they ever ask us about our opinion on it, we say something to the effect of, well, I voted for the lesser of two evils, right? You're like, I didn't like either candidate, but this is who was put in front of me. So I felt like it was my duty as an American to vote. Right. So I voted for one of two. I didn't like either.
Mm-hmm.
I settled.
Here are the
sorry.
Here, let me run the candidates real quick, then we'll go back to discussion. On the Democratic side, Jasmine Crockett, current U.S. House representative from Dallas, Ahmad Hassan, and James Talarico, who's current Texas State House Senate. I think he's
House.
Texas.
I think
they're both House.
He's House District.
She's federal though.
She's U.S. House. He's Texas House.
Yeah. Thank you for that clarification.
And Ahmad Hassan is
does he currently hold a position?
Does not currently hold a position.
Yeah.
Anyway, that on the Republican side, there's a whole big, and several have withdrawn, including Colin Allred. Whole big list of them here. On the Republican side, John Cornyn, the incumbent, Ken Paxton, the current Attorney General.
And that's really who the race is
for the state of Texas. And then there's John Adafop, Anna Bender, Virgil Bierschwala, Sarah Kennedy, butchering names, Wesley Hunt, who has actually got a little bit of momentum going, and then Golrez Khan are the current Republican candidates. As Diane said, the big race
Of
between Paxton and Cornyn.
of them, Wesley Hunt seems to have the most media money backing that I'm seeing. He's got a lot of commercials out there, but I have noticed an equal amount of anti-Wesley Hunt commercials. The one thing the Republicans love to do is spend as much anti-ads against their opponents as they do ads for themselves, which is just wild to me.
Let me tell you a little story about the Republican primary in District 106. For reasons, our household gets the Republican primary campaign mailers. For example, we had Larry Brock supporters who came to the house today, block walking for in support of Larry Brock. We started about a month ago, started getting flyers from a political organization, and I don't have the name off the top of my head, um, that listed a bunch of bad things that the current incumbent, Jared Patterson, has done. And the entire message was vote against Jared Patterson, not vote for Larry Brock or vote for Rick Abraham, just vote against Jared Patterson. So I traced down who this organization is funded by, starting with Transparency USA and just finding, doing some digging, and found out that the PAC that had sent these flyers out, they were from nobody's campaign, came from a PAC, is funded almost exclusively by Tim Dunn. And if you're familiar with Florida or Texas politics, Ferris Wilkes and Tim Dunn are the huge big money donors that have been controlling the state of Texas politics for a long, long time. Anyway, Tim Dunn is actively and expensively campaigning pretty heavily against the incumbent, Jared Patterson, who in previous elections he had supported heavily. So you talk about Republicans love to attack not just Democrats, they love to attack each other as well.
Oh yeah,
So
hard.
I'm sitting here eating popcorn, knowing it's going to get ugly after next week when the primaries are over, unless there's a runoff, which is entirely possible if none of them get a 50% margin. But anyway, so to your point, yes, the Republicans love to.
They love that.
Seemingly love to do that.
I feel like that's probably like their most favorite because it seems like they put so much energy and effort into it. They get creative with it.
Well, that's kind of the Republican way as far as pointing fingers.
Yes.
They are finger pointers.
Everything is a scapegoat.
Yep.
Everything is somebody else's fault, right?
Yeah. It's like the pedophile, like, oh, Trump, is in the
Epstein
paper,
files.
the Epstein files. Oh, but Clinton's in there.
The whataboutism.
The
But what about?
whataboutism, yeah.
What about? Yep.
So, and I do want to get right back to that.
Yeah.
But I had told my friend that Crockett and Talarico is putting us in a position where honestly, it's a win-win situation.
Agreed.
It almost doesn't matter who you vote for because Crockett has the federal administration shaking because she is not afraid to say the truth. She's not afraid to speak it out. And she's not afraid to literally, I mean, every single time, I don't think it's just for social media clips. I see her sitting there in Senate hearings and oversight hearings, and whether it's Bondi or Kash Patel or Hegseth or anybody who's sitting on the other side of that thing, she will give it to them.
Yeah.
She will give it to them. They have no recourse, nothing to debate with, no folly on their end because she lays it out candid, open, transparent, and relatable, easy for anybody to follow and understand.
Mhm.
That scares them. James Talarico reminds me of if I was living in the 60s of JFK. I feel like he's got that all-American, Christian, but Jesus following anti-Christian nationalist message
Right.
that is so important and so vital. And I really want to reframe my entire dialogue around it, honestly, because I know that I've been following a lot of what he does and says has inspired a lot of what I write and a lot of what I say as well. And I know that it rubs people so wrong when I say the CN word, so wrong. But now I'm realizing this isn't just a war to preserve and protect their identity in Christianity and the power structures that be. this is a war against secularism.
I
Period.
and I've got a different comp that, and this is a little bit closer to home,
Yeah.
for Talarico. He reminds me a lot of Beto,
Yep.
Okay.
in his demeanor, his approach,
Mhm.
very calm, very measured. And the thing that people tend to sort of gets overlooked because she's such a fiery presence, talking about Jasmine Crockett, is she is, if I'm not mistaken, the daughter of a Baptist minister, daughter or granddaughter. I think it's daughter, but so she has a very strong um, religious foundation to her approach as well. It's not as
Not the same message.
open, not the same message, similar, I think, foundational beliefs as
Yes.
Talrico.
Well, in the end, they're speaking for the same reason and recourse, right? They're speaking for the immigrants, they're speaking for the minorities, they're speaking for the women, they're speaking literally for the idea of just, you know, choose the right, like be a good person to be a good person. I think that that's overall their underlying message. The
Yeah. So
government needs to be that same way. Like we're all human.
and the conundrum, the challenge, and this has elicited a whole lot of conversation um, among Democrats, among candidates, among meetings of Democrats, among on social media, is which one? Who are you, Team Talrico, or
Yeah.
Team Crockett? And as Diane said, I'm on team whoever wins the primary,
Mhm.
and will back them with everything in me because I
Absolutely.
absolutely believe in what both of them, their message and their action, um, and certainly far better than what we've seen out of our current senator John Cornyn and
Or
Oh
anybody
my
who's raced
or
against them in the past 20
Paxton
years.
is such a just a yeah. There's a I don't
Paxton
want to
to
say bad
me,
words.
you can say some bad words.
he's
Paxton is for um taking away my job. You know what I mean? Like he wants my unemployment. Not to say that he doesn't want me employed per se, but what I do for a living, he doesn't want me to do for a living. And that includes millions of other people that do what I do for a living.
right.
And that's wild to me. If you're gonna stand there and say that you're for, improvement of the economy, you're for, small business, you're for
He's also
us,
yeah.
you're not. If you're gonna sit there and take
And
our livelihoods away
but the
from us.
faux outrage at um, someone like him, the actions that he takes, those none of those are surprises, and so there's no point in having outrage. It's the story of the scorpion and the frog. You know, we know what he is. We know what he is by his actions. We know what he is by his personal life. We know what he is from the divorce filings from his soon-to-be ex-wife.
Right.
I mean, these are,
All of that.
he is what he is. So there's really no need to act surprised at anything he does.
What does Talarico say? Don't tell me what you believe. Show me what you believe, and I'll tell you what you believe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Good. Perfect.
walk the talk.
Yeah. So did you tell your friend who you voted for? That's what I want to know.
Yes, yes. I voted for Jasmine Crockett.
How did you?
I did. I did.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I have been on Team Talarico for the longest because to me, again, his message resonates most with my own.
Hmm.
And I believe that message needs to get out on the national stage. And I think that regardless of whether he wins this or not, it does.
Right.
It does. But I do believe that Crockett has got the energy that I personally want to see there.
Yeah, I think either, and I'm of the old school where what goes on in the ballot box belongs to me, between me and my conscience.
I
Um,
used to be like that. I don't.
yeah,
I like to speak it out a little more now.
yeah, I don't judge that. That's fine. And what anybody else does, that's where I'm at. My point is, I can full throatedly support either one of them, and will whoever wins the primary will have my full throated support every time involved in for whatever my opinion is worth. I will certainly support them against whomever is brought forth by the Republican Party in their primary.
For all participating Democratic voters in these primaries, I think it's important to note here that a vote for one of them is not a vote against the other one.
Correct.
And that's the important thing to realize here, because a lot of times we have all been there. We have all done that, where we have voted for somebody because it was a vote opposite the person we didn't like.
Right.
And I think that's the important part here.
I know. And I swear I still am second guessing
Yeah.
who I voted for.
I've
Yeah.
gone back and forth. I know who I voted for. I go back and forth
Yeah.
in my brain at least twice a day, and that's not an
Mhm.
exaggeration. I
Yeah.
voted on the first day of early voting
I did too.
on the 17th, and every day since then, at least twice a day, I've gone back and forth in my mind. But I have to remind myself that, again, both candidates are exemplary people.
Mhm.
Like you said, Jasmine's energy is contagious
Just a firecracker.
and
Yeah.
just absolutely, she is a force of nature, extraordinarily intelligent, extraordinarily committed, devoted.
She makes the hairs on my arm and the back of my neck stand up when I hear her speak
Yeah,
sometimes.
she's
I can be in a quiet room listening to her in earbuds, and without realizing it, I will have shouted out loud and clapped. It's weird. I'm weird.
this is a name. This is a name that you will probably not remember, but and part of this is, there's a connection. They're both African American women, but who she reminds me of in just her matter of fact, these are the facts, I'm not backing down, is Shirley Chisholm. Do you remember Shirley Chisholm, Diane?
I do.
Back in the
Yeah.
day? She was
I might have to
very,
look her up.
very, uh, for all of Jasmine's fire and that energy that comes out, when she's speaking, if you listen to her, she's speaking very matter of factly. Rarely does she raise her voice, rarely does she go on the attack, but she is relentless, and that's what reminds me of Shirley Chisholm.
She doesn't back down.
Yeah, and Shirley Chisholm was that way too. She would not back down. She believed what she believed. She had reasons for believing it. She would her delivery was infectious, and
Yeah.
that's what reminds me a little bit of Jasmine, is when you follow her train of thought, because that's what I love about watching Jasmine is, or excuse me, Representative Crockett. To be fair, I should treat her with the respect she's earned. When I listen to Representative Crockett and listen to her flow of thoughts, it's just it's that's what gives me the goosebumps, not just the fire, but her intelligence and her relentlessness. You can tell she was a great attorney when she was
Oh,
in the
yeah.
courtroom. So
Oh, yeah.
anyway, yeah, big
I
fan.
just wish they'd run for two different offices.
Yeah, if there was a way to do it, or to say, hey, co-joint office.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you
Exactly.
guys pick weekends. I support it either way.
Yeah.
I got to tell you for sure. I'd love to see whichever one doesn't win this, where the other one goes.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that that's the other thing too, is we need to remember that this isn't the end of the road for either of them. So what's great is whichever one takes on this position, we can still follow along and support the other one to continue that message that they are promulgating overall.
Well,
Yeah.
Talarico's what, 32,
Yeah, he's young.
36 something. He's young.
I'm
How
old
old
enough
is-
to be able to babysat him.
He's 36. He's 36.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
He's, I could have
He's a
burned
little.
it.
He definitely would fall into the category of my younger brothers.
And Jasmine is 44.
Really?
Excuse me, Representative Crockett is
Representative
44.
Crockett is 44.
Yep.
So she is my age.
Yeah, and
Makes sense.
Yep.
We had a good grade.
Yeah.
So yeah, Charlie's participating on the podcast after all, not to go off
Oh,
on a
really?
sidetrack, but he dropped a message. He said, "Did you hear about?" Let me find his message. Did you know about TWU's walkout for anti-ice tomorrow? So I went and found it while we were chatting. TWU walkout. Ice out of TWU campus. Our classmates deserve to attend classes without fear. Wednesday, 25th, 12 p.m. on the Hubbard lawn at TWU.
For those who don't know
Sure.
what TWU is, Texas Women's University here in Denton.
It's just north of the square, I believe, and northeast of the square. And it is a smaller campus, but you can't miss it. If you
Ever-growing.
can be there, I would encourage it.
Yeah.
In fact, I didn't know about it, but now that I know about it, I might be there.
Yeah.
And to be clear, and this is something I've had to learn, I literally am looking it up to remind myself, Texas Woman's, singular, Woman's Possessive University. So I know it's
I'm
odd,
a
but
Detonite.
it's always bothered
Is
me, but
it?
that is the official. It is Texas.
So it's not women plural and then possessive.
Nope.
It's woman, individual,
Woman
possessive.
singular, possessive S, university.
Autonomy women.
Texas Woman's University, TW.
You don't need no
Whatever.
man.
Yeah. There you
Now
go.
they accept men.
Just
so
saying.
just women's.
Saying.
They do. And they have
might look at that.
never lost a football game.
I have I have spent more nights there than I have attended any classes at any other college. It's been years.
Sorry, I didn't mean to go down that rabbit hole, but I did want to share that bit of information that Charlie was sharing. This
Thank you, Charlie.
should be out before noon on the 25th. Should be able to get this dropped tonight when we get home. So
Good.
We'll get that out and about.
Excellent. Like I said, if you're available and around town, be there.
All
You
right.
might see me. If you see me, say hi. Don't be shy.
Let's talk the next topic I'd like to hear your opinions on. Tonight's State of the Union and the counter programming that is being proposed.
And which are you guys going to be participating in?
I'm recording a podcast.
Oh,
Yeah, I know. I'm
That-
thinking,
that.
I don't care.
I'll be catching up on the Midas Touch. Is it State of the Union 2.0? What are they? How are they reframing this? I feel like this is like the Turning Point USA doing a secondary Super Bowl, but for the State of the Union with Midas Touch.
Yeah, it's the people's. Well, this is the People's State of the Union.
Okay.
This is what to watch counter to the POTUS State of the Union.
I posted a bingo card today.
Yeah,
Did you see that?
I've seen several iterations of that.
I love it. It's like
Representative Maxwell Frost from Florida's 10th announced that he will not be attending Donald Trump's first official State of the Union address of his second term. Instead, he will join 30 other Democratic lawmakers, along with Epstein survivors, families hurt by ICE, fired public health workers, Americans losing health care benefits and struggling with rising costs, and others impacted by Trump's dangerous agenda, according to co-host MoveOn.org.
He'll join them where?
That's what I'm
Oh,
sounds like with the Midas Touch.
The People's State of the Union. Is it Midas Touch?
It's Midas Touch.
Okay. Yeah, there we go. With progressive media company Midas Touch, and it's being sponsored or co-hosted by Moving On Doberman.
Yeah, Midas Touch has the link on their YouTube page. So if you go to Midas Touch Network YouTube, you'll be able to access that.
MEIDAS.
MEIDAS.
Touch.com.
Correct.
Yeah.
So some of the fun ones I saw on there. How many times will Trump blame Biden?
Yeah.
How many times will he say, like you've never seen before? How many times will he, throw Democrats under the bus?
What's interesting to me is that he and going back to the campaign mailers and signs all over town endorsed by our current POTUS. That's the rallying cry of many of the Republican candidates. Sorry?
yeah.
Even on their TV ads too.
Oh yeah.
It's Trump supports this guy.
That's a badge of
Trump
honor.
guy.
And I don't think it's the flex, A, that it used to be, or B, that they think it is.
No.
But one of his major intentions tonight with this State of the Union is to stem some of the bleeding, metaphorical bleeding, that Republican candidates are facing
Towards midterms, right?
toward with an eye toward November.
Yeah.
And start sort of reshaping the narrative so that we don't see more of what Taylor Ramett did over in Texas Senate District 9, where he had a 31-point swing, 17-point win for Trump last year, and he won by 14 points against a Trump-supported very MAGA Republican runoff.
I just got the notification. Midas Touch has gone live now.
Oh, there you go.
It just came across my.
What time does this happen tonight?
9 o'clock is the
Eastern?
The actual, so they probably started some kind of pre-show thing going on right now with different interviews and different things, and a countdown. I'm sure they did do.
You said it's on their
YouTube
page,
and they did a big countdown yesterday, which was awesome. We watched it live last night before we went to bed, where the Midas Touch Network boys brought it home and reached 6 million subscribers.
Wow.
On their platform, and it was a live ticking counting that it continued on.
So now
their 6.01 subscribers on their YouTube channel.
Are they watching the State of the Union and discussing it as it's happening?
Don't know. They are live now, so I'm really
They may
their stuff.
they may do some of that. My understanding is they're having their own separate rally.
Mm.
Oh, I wonder if Kid Rock's going to be there.
Definitely. Well, he might be at the regular one. I don't know if he'll be at Midas Touch.
Kid Rock.
What
and
if he'll have a
Hard
shirt on or be,
Go
you
swimming
know?
in jeans and
Yeah.
drinking raw milk.
Definitely not drinking Bud Light. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Now let's see. Midas Touch and Move On Civic Organization or Civic Action host the People's State of the Union live from National Mall in DC, hosted by Katie Fong and Joy Reid. The event will feature lawmakers alongside federal workers, immigrants, and Americans impacted by Trump's policies.
Well, all right
So
then.
yeah, there it is. And it is live now. I've got it muted, playing in the background.
You do?
Yeah, I do.
Huh.
I could play it on
No,
on our
don't care.
podcast, but don't need to.
We don't have that much longer.
We don't. Yeah, it's a good 45 minutes. So,
Yeah.
do you expect? Is there anything in particular that you expect to see out of the State of the Union, other than like Joel was saying or Josh was saying about the bingo cards, which are always hilarious?
Yeah, no. I don't, no. The only thing I've seen is that NPR posted that there'll be a lot of Democratic women in wearing white sitting. I'm not sure if there's going to be Epstein survivors up there with them sitting because they're going to try to fill the arena with white
Yeah, suffrage,
suffrage. Yeah,
color suffrage.
yeah.
And we do know that the women's hockey team, Olympic hockey team, will not be there. They had travel issues precluded them from.
Oh, they were going to be at the.
They were invited.
I heard that they were invited and outright declined.
They did. They outright declined. Specifically, they cited logistics issues and transportation back from Milan, and
We'll go with that.
So
Okay.
that is their official response.
would you guys discuss
That's a
the
good.
We'll assume that they are speaking truth.
That's a good segue to one thing I wanted to say since it's timely dealing with the Olympics. This, what's his name? Being in the locker room with his phone and the president talking to
the
team and saying, making it sound like an afterthought to have the women's team join them. And I just want to say that's really unfair to the men's hockey team because they were put in a position by Patel, by the president. They are celebrating their win.
Their win.
Nobody
else's win.
Right.
Not Kash Patel's win, not Donald Trump's
win. Right. And then they're invited to come, hooting and hollering, and then he makes a joke about the women being invited to come. And I just feel like we're throwing all those hockey players under the bus for how they responded. It was their damn celebration. Yeah. That should not have even happened. No. That phone call should not have even happened.
It shouldn't have.
In that locker room.
I don't think Kash Patel, what right does he even have to be there? You have work to do, my guy. There are pedophiles running in the streets all through Washington, D.C., and you ain't doing shit about it, my guy. At the end of the day, Kash Patel had no right or reason to be there. I've had people come at me telling me that, he was there on official business. He's the director of the FBI. What jurisdiction does he have outside
the FBI's jurisdiction is domestic United States.
Our border
does not extend beyond our border.
So at the end of the day, if he's there and he's not there on his dime, he's there on our tax dollars. If he's there celebrating, chugging beers, doing whatever it is, if he's off the clock. But you know what? You're a salaried guy. You're on the clock 24/7. You work for the American people. You work for us. You get paid by our money. Going over there doing what you're doing, that's not okay. We're seeing way too much of this.
Yeah.
This is the waste, fraud, and abuse they said Doge was going to clean up from the Democrats that they themselves are literally just doing.
A year ago, when Doge was mentioned, the projection or the claim, and again, this is my back to my own point. Why be surprised when these ludicrous things are said that the savings were going to be $2 trillion from the government expenses, cut $2 trillion in government expenses out. Our government expenses have increased, not been cut by $2 trillion.
Increased. Yep.
I don't have the numbers how much they've
We are
increased.
spending more.
Yeah, we're
We're
spending more than we
spending
were.
more,
Mhm.
and not a single one of you asshats have actually gotten a $5,000 Doge check. I guarantee that.
Yeah.
Or you're still waiting. I know.
I haven't got
I've stopped waiting.
50-cent Doge check.
Oh, jeez.
50 Cent didn't even get a 50-cent check.
Yeah.
Boy,
Um,
just just keeping an eye on Katie Bethel from executive director of MoveOn.org is speaking now, and the comments are just flying in from Canada, blue hearts everywhere,
mhm.
rainbow flags. Just there's a whole lot of excited people.
We have a lot of excitement, not just nationwide, but like worldwide. The worldwide eyes are on America right now.
Yeah.
And worldwide, they are wondering, what are we going to do? Are we going to allow ourselves to continue to backslide our democracy towards authoritarianism and dictatorship, allowing the Republican Party to dismantle us and become a one party state? Or are we going to stand up for our rights, protect democracy, and prove once and for all again why democracy is not perfect, but is the better option when it comes to inclusion and making sure that there's representation for all the different people that we have within our nation?
Well, one of the things I talk about, and I mentioned this to someone recently, is Mike. Um, you have the traditional Republican position of conservatism to conserve, preserve what exists currently. You have the progressive uh, group in America that want to move things forward, that want to move us toward a more perfect union,
Yeah.
as has been cited. Unfortunately, what you have is this large group of people who are not conservative. They're not looking to conserve things. They are regressive.
Yep. They are the
And
Republican Progressive Party.
those are the ones that are frightening to me. And those are the ones that I am standing up against. We cannot move backwards. There are fundamental freedoms that are protected by the United States Constitution and the Texas Constitution. And we cannot, those are not negotiable.
Yeah.
Those are assured, preserved, they're ours.
I want to say something too. Not only is the world watching the United States, but the country is watching Texas.
Yeah.
And come on, Blue, let's show the country that we can turn Texas at least purple.
And I've heard a lot of comments of people saying, um, we hear this every 4 years, every 2 years, like, well, we're going to turn Texas blue. Texas is purple. Texas is just a low turnout state. They're not a blue state or a red state. And all of that. And that is probably true. I understand there's a measure of frustration and disillusionment among Democratic voters in particular. Um, but the reality is we keep pushing through. We don't give up just because it may be harder, just because we may fail. And
Yeah.
that's one of the things Diane and I talked about before the campaign is I have to be willing to fall short
Yeah.
of that. Now, my intent is not to. My intent is to fight through the end, and that's we as a party. If we're going to move our nation forward and move our state forward, we have to have people who are serious people who are willing to take action, willing to put themselves out there and push the ball forward.
Yeah.
Even if we fall short, because it's that old story: if you shoot for the moon and don't quite make it, you're still living among the stars, or
Yeah.
something to that effect.
No, but at the end of the day, if we don't win, there's no reason to sulk.
Yeah.
It's simply, where's our next strength and who do we support next?
Mhm.
If it's me going back to the drawing board to revitalize my own campaign, then that's what we do. Where's my back on that? But more than that, it's where else do we support? What else do we fight for or fight against?
Yeah.
Right.
Where do we keep pushing? Where do
Right.
we
Yeah.
and that's what it's gonna take, it's
Yeah.
heartening, but it's like I said, I can understand people's frustration that we haven't pushed through. We haven't had a Democratic governor since Ann Richards was elected in 1990. She took office in 1991, left in 95. But she hasn't been the first one. We haven't elected a
Yeah.
Democratic governor since 90. We haven't had a Democratic statewide elected official in Charlie's lifetime,
Yeah. Or I don't think in mine,
and he will be 30 in a
at least not since I've lived here.
couple of months.
Yeah.
I've lived here since '96. So,
Well, there you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. That's
Yep.
when Charlie was born.
Yeah, to add to that too, we're seeing cities, though we are seeing cities, we're seeing school boards, we are seeing counties flip blue that have not been blue in our lifetime. And that to me is the most encouraging because
In
it
your
shows
lifetime.
that
Yeah.
on the ground level, the grassroots movements, you know, how impactful we are with the door knocking, or at least how impactful we are in helping get other people up and out to vote. I was able to encourage, I think I had over half a dozen of my son's friends who are between the ages of 21 and 23 come back to me and tell me they all registered to vote
Nice.
and they were all going to vote.
Yeah.
None of them at 18 wanted to get vote or cared.
Yeah.
And here they are.
Now they're seeing
They're seeing things, and it
Yeah.
took, you know, a conversation I had with somebody else that's similar to this, where he said, "Look, there's not much I can say that is positive about Trump or the administration, except this. They have literally brought to light and brought to the surface things that we thought were hidden or things that we thought didn't exist. They have shown us who people really are because those people have continued to move those goalposts."
And I do want to call out, I do want to point out, and we've mentioned this before, not every Christian is a Christian nationalist.
Correct.
Not everyone who voted for this president is a uber red progressive
MAGA red hat
redhead
wearing.
kind of person.
Yes.
There are
Correct.
people who have, and this is an interesting story. A candidate for a local office around here, I won't obviously say his name. He's running as a Democrat. Well, actually, it's a party agnostic seat that he's running for. But he was telling me a story that his wife was a one issue voter, and she was adamant about it. She was non-negotiable, and that was her line in the sand. And as a result, she voted Republican because of this issue. It wasn't, and she was very anti. Um, IVF. She was very anti-abortion. That's the issue. Um, but when she experienced health issues and her ability where they were unable to conceive, they were finally able to conceive via IVF. She miscarried and lost the baby and required some medication to prevent her from becoming septic. And the pharmacist was on the phone and said loudly in front of people who were there, said, "Well, I'm just making sure you're not out trying to get an abortion." And she was humiliated, she was horrified, and it brought to light in my mind, and it's kind of always been there, but it really crystallized it, that these are nuanced issues that involve, especially when it comes to healthcare and queer community rights and those kind of things. These are nuanced, complex things that should be decided by individuals, not dictated by the state. So I don't even know where I was going with that.
It's okay. We were discussing the fact that she was a one issue voter. She voted Republican. At the end of
Oh
that,
yeah, they're not all redhead.
she experienced on the what happens is that they vote against their own interests, and until their vote directly negatively impacts them, they will continue to do so.
And again, I have nothing but respect for her voting her conscience on that issue,
Yeah.
and whether it was voting against her best interest or not, immaterial, is not up for me to judge. But the fact that she had to unfortunately come face to face with a thing that in the state of Texas, women are not assured the ability to have full autonomy and control over making those decisions.
But do we only can we only get empathy because it happens to us?
Yeah,
That
fair.
pisses me off.
Yep, that's a fair
I'm
point.
sorry.
That's a fair point.
That's why
That
I'm too.
pisses me off.
That's why I'm too.
See things through other people's eyes. Oh my God.
That's the whole, yeah, that's
Oh
a
my
great point,
God.
Diane. Empathy is, if you are not leading with empathy, then you're just a selfish person.
Yeah,
Wow.
and I'm sorry. I have an issue. And not that I would ever I don't know. I have an issue.
Jesus's entire message is empathy.
Yeah.
His entire message is 100% empathy.
Yeah.
And anybody who tells you otherwise is not teaching or preaching from the heart of Jesus.
Um And Catholics, I grew up Catholic. I'm attached still to the Catholic Church, just in my mind, because you grow up in it. It's a part of you. The prayer of Saint Francis. How can you say the prayer of Saint Francis and yet be a one issue voter and vote for this monster who's at the White House right now?
Great.
Just
That is
Yeah.
for the record. I was not raised Catholic. That is one of my
Catholic light, though.
Catholic light
Yeah.
Lutheran. But that is my favorite prayer. Was one that I learned as an adult, and really, its whole sort of theme is empathy.
May I
Yeah.
say,
Is I don't want anything for me other than how it serves others.
Right.
I want to.
That's my favorite prayer of all time.
I definitely want to secularize this a little bit and say we all stood up and said the Pledge of Allegiance. So when we all stood there and said, "And liberty and justice for all," and yet where are we now? Like what does for all really mean? Who is the for all? To me, that meant for all. Like there was no disclusions. Anybody who is in my vicinity is a part of that all.
Well, my
Right.
official campaign slogan is now "One Texas for All," specifically inspired by the words. We went to an campaign event a couple weeks ago in Frisco Lakes,
I love that.
and it was the Democratic Club, and they opened with the Pledge of Allegiance. And there's obviously a lot of feelings. There's a lot that goes behind that
Yeah.
for a variety of reasons I won't go into. But yeah, that was part of what was inspired my message, my point, what I'm trying to accomplish, what my objective is. That's One Texas for All.
And I think that's the perfect framing.
All right. I think that's a great place to
Good place to wrap it up.
wrap it
And
up.
Texas for all.
Yeah.
One Texas for All.
It's so good to see you guys.
Yeah.
Good to
So
see
good
you
to see
too.
you
It's good to be back putting this together. Hopefully we will have Joelle here next week. I think we're clear. I'm clear. I have I'm clear tomorrow or next Tuesday. Joelle said he is
Keep it
available
on Tuesday. Perfect.
if that works for you.
Yeah.
I usually work on Tuesdays here, so I'm here
And
anyway.
perfect. We'll
So
get in touch with David. Charlie will have moved. He will still be in the depths
Yep.
of school.
school. Yeah.
He's going to school full time, working full time. Now he's moving,
And getting married.
planning a wedding.
Planning a
Man.
wedding, yeah.
That guy right there, that is a man's man.
Yeah.
He is
My little boy is now a man.
well. And speaking of which, if I might, the Denton Record Chronicle is currently running a local, not an election, it's a voting for the 40 under 40 in Denton County, or in Denton, the city of Denton. Denton Record Chronicle is doing this, and Charlie has been nominated in
Yes,
two
he has.
categories. Charles Forrester in there. He's
Yeah.
so grown up. And let me come back. I did put a pin in how proud I am of that young man. But he is nominated for retail and
Family business.
e-commerce, and then that's the one category. The other category is family business. But wait, there's more. His lovely fiance Haley is also nominated as a K through 12 educator. So if you're so inclined to go hunt up the
Just a few more days, I
Denton
think.
Record Chronicle, the 29th, I think is
I've
the last.
seen the Charlie nomination, and I voted for Charlie. I did not see Haley's.
You can vote daily.
vote daily.
So
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll get back on it and vote again today.
yeah.
Haley's on there, K-12. Charlie's in two categories:
Okay.
retail, e-commerce, and family business.
Wonderful. Vote Charlie. Vote Haley.
Yeah.
Charlie,
Vote Joe.
Okay, real quick, we are in the process of doing some stuff, or Charlie's in the process of making some decisions about the store, Patchouli Joe's Books and Indulgences. Anyway, he's making some decisions, and he sent me a meme this morning of Michael Corleone saying, keep your friends close and your enemies closer, in response to a dialogue he and I were having. And I have long said that everything you need to know about not just business, but about working in the professional environment can be learned from Godfathers 1 and 2.
Ooh,
All
okay.
the lessons that are in there, I've literally written up
Montoya,
a
Montoya. Huh?
2-page sheet. No, it's wrong movie.
Oh, notice I never watched this.
You never watched The
Oh
Godfather?
my gosh, Joe's
I
gonna
know.
make you watch 'em.
Remember, grew up Mormon and a cult. If it wasn't PG,
Before
I
next,
wasn't allowed to watch it.
all right. before next week, when you can, Godfather 1, Godfather 2, watched together are magnificent.
Okay.
There is a version of that where the chronology, because chronologically, Godfather 1 occurs during X period of time. Godfather 2 is split between before Godfather 1 and
Oh,
after
okay.
Godfather 1.
So it's a
So,
prequel and a sequel.
yeah, so there
It's my
is
favorite. The Godfather 2 is my favorite.
there is a version where it's shown chronologically,
Okay.
but if you can watch Godfather 1, Godfather 2. Godfather 3, I, for a long time, swore did not exist. However, there is a new version that is the editor's or the director's original vision, The Godfather Coda, which is the death of Michael Corleone, or Corleone. So anyway, but yes, they're magnificent. I will send you the sheet that's
Thank you.
got the quotes and what they mean in the context of the
I'm going to
business
put it on
world.
my TBW.
I was so proud of Charlie for coming back at me with that meme. I could not have been prouder. He's wonderful. So yeah, vote Charlie, vote Haley.
Love it. If I can throw a little something at Charlie too,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be here today with you guys if it wasn't for Charlie. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but Marie and I came into the store on a whim one day. I did show you guys the Instagram reel
Yeah,
that
that
I
was
made
just
with her and Nika
fabulous.
running in. It was very cool.
Yeah.
The only reel I think I've ever made in social media that went viral.
Wow.
Right.
That's great.
And I happened to be in the store and fell in love with the store, was gonna come here again regardless. You guys, it was a Sunday and there was a book club going on here in the back of the store. I don't know what the book club was or if it was anything related to what was going on, but I'd convinced Marie to let me purchase Jason Stanley's Erasing History. And when I went to ring that up, it was Charlie that was like, "Hey, if you like this book, have you also read?" And he suggested On Tyranny. And I said, "Actually, I already own and had read that." He goes, "Great." He goes, "We have a book club next month on Tyranny. You should come." He goes, "I think you would really like it if you're into this." And because of that, I came. And unfortunately, they have not been able to get rid of me since.
And that's
Hopefully, however they want.
I think you and we had met briefly, but that was when
Yeah.
we had an opportunity to sit down
Mhm.
at that book club, specifically that
Yeah.
meeting with On Tyranny. And yeah, it's been Nirvana ever since.
My guy,
Yeah.
Charlie did that. I credit Charlie entirely.
Yeah. That's
Charlie's
awesome.
contributions to the community are legion. They are,
Agreed.
I'm not just blowing smoke. He's a remarkable young man.
And he's not the kind that's going to go out there and tell you.
No, very humble.
You know, so,
Very humble.
yeah.
Conscientious and humble, and yeah.
He certainly did not nominate himself.
No,
he
he
would
did not.
never.
If
That's
he
not him.
ever runs for any kind of public office, I'm definitely down to be a campaign manager.
Well, there you go.
He's one of one.
Yeah.
Anyway, great to have you back, Josh.
Thank
Great
you,
to
guys.
be
Yeah.
sitting here
Appreciate it.
chatting politics. Hour and 6 minutes, hour and 7 minutes went by very quickly. But it was good stuff. Can't wait to get Joelle back. Can't wait to bring David into the conversation.
Yeah, looking forward to that.
David is a government professor, which is basically political science. At I'm not going to say where he's at.
Yeah.
I'll let him.
I have so many questions, so much
No,
dialogue.
we just need to get him on.
Yeah.
Even if it's while he's at home.
Yeah, he helps me
Zooms.
with the podcast or with the website for the campaign. And Charlie, like I said, baby, he may or may not. He's really neck deep, and he's taking history. No, he's taking
Yes.
history, political science, and political science course, music appreciation, and so far they have not covered Prince in his musical appreciation. The focus has been on Bach. Apparently, he's a big deal.
Like Prince is the artist formerly known as Prince.
Correct.
Yeah.
They haven't. I'm assuming later this
They
semester
get there at some point,
they'll get
possibly.
there. Yeah, but
Purple Rain.
and he's also taking statistics, which anyone who's ever taken statistics understands that you survive statistics, you don't master statistics.
Yeah.
All right.
Keep it fluid.
All right.
What else we
on
got?
that note?
Anything to wrap up? Anything
Yeah.
else?
Any other
to close?
news?
I think there's we'll have a lot to talk about next week because
sure.
we will have seen this
That State of the Union or other State of the Union.
yeah.
And the
Yeah.
clips from, oh my goodness.
And
That's
we
that's me. I think I'm gonna watch clips.
And we should have the who will be the Republican candidate for House District 106.
Yeah, you'll know your
Oh, but it's voting day. We won't
that's
know
right.
by the
We
time
will
we
not.
record.
not by the end, but
My prediction for March 3rd, which is primary voting day. It's the election day for the primary. My prediction is that I will win the Democratic nomination to run for House District 26.
Yay!
I second that prediction.
For those who don't know, I'm the only Democratic name on the ballot. So
Yeah. All
Free
right.
pass.
anyway,
Well, this is fun.
This was great, guys.
Nice
This
to
was
be
great.
back.
thank you guys. Much love. And as we always say, no matter what the problem is, no matter what the crisis is, the answer is
Love.
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 Peace.
Peace, friends.
This is the Patchouli Podcast Network.